Now to news broken exclusively earlier today by Fox News, and they reported that former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey are under criminal investigation for the potential wrongdoing related to the Russian collusion hoax, including allegedly making false statements to Congress. Josh, this is potentially explosive stuff. I would argue this is well overdue. What's your take on this?
My take on this is that Kash Patel was born for this moment. Kash Patel is the FBI director. Kash Patel is one of the first people in the entire American political class who saw the Russia collusion delusion, as I call it, who saw that for what it was, which was this this wild information operation foisted on the American people by the Hillary Clinton campaign and Fusion GPS, this very sketchy outfit along with Perkins Coie, the Tony White shoe law firm there. The Russia hoax is one of the greatest hoaxes perpetrated against the American people in American history. And very few people have actually paid any price. That's maybe the utterly most damning detail. Kevin Kleinsmith essentially got a slap on the wrist, but none of the people who were actually responsible actually served any jail time for Russiagate whatsoever. Kash Patel, back when he was working in the national security establishment there, he was on this since day one. He has always talked about Russiagate. I knew that if Kash became the FBI director, that he would not let it go. So this is looking like a potentially very, very big deal. And again, it's really perfect that Kash, the best guy, is leading it. Finally, I will say this. Especially after what happened with the Epstein files, I think that Kash Patel could definitely use somewhat of a win right now, especially to try to make sure that he is viewed the right way by President Trump's base. I personally, Rita, I'm not necessarily one crying foul as others are. That's not necessarily my hill to die on the Epstein files, but a lot of people in the MAGA movement are very upset with how this has been handled. So I think this is also a politically beneficial move for Kash Patel as well, in addition to the substantive merits of it, which, as you said, are very much long overdue.
Well, Kash Patel, the FBI director, I think does have a problem, Josh. The Jeffrey Epstein issue, I don't think is going to go away. We're hearing some very angry words from very influential people on the right, and I'm talking about people from Tucker Carlson to Jesse Waters from Fox News to Benny Johnson, people who are being very much on the America First bandwagon, but they are just not believing this conclusion. They say there are massive holes in these conclusions and that there has been little transparency. Is this something that Donald Trump can afford to ignore? Does he have to come back to this and have Pam Bondi give a greater explanation of how they've come to this decision and answer some of the glaring questions that remain unanswered?
So the administration has obviously not handled this well. I mean, to be clear, Rita, I am definitely not apologizing for the administration. I mean, Pam Bondi said at one point that the Epstein files were sitting on her desk. She said this during a Fox News interview. And then we saw just a few days ago that the U.S. government, with all of its force and might, said that there actually is no such thing as the Epstein client list. So, I mean, one of these two things clearly is not true. So it seems, I think, on the one end that some people were definitely led to believe that there was a big there that was not there. Personally, I have long believed that the folks who are promising more than there likely is has been trying to, I think, dupe, frankly, a lot of gullible people. The Epstein case back in 2005 was essentially dropped by the Bush-era DOJ. It was given to a Palm Beach County, Florida state prosecutor, which frankly makes no sense. And that really was kind of the origin of any cover-up, if there was any cover-up, was the decision of the Bush-era DOJ. That was when I think investigative journalists really should have been sniffing around there. But the fact that 20 years later, then we haven't been able to kind of piece together a lot of the details after a lot of these victims of these horrific crimes have signed non-disclosure agreements, oftentimes have taken large sums of money to not talk there. So I'm not shocked that there's no there, and I think a lot of people do have an explanation to do. I would encourage the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to be the guy to actually get in front of the camera and just explain what happened here. He's the right guy to do it. It would be more credible coming from him and not Pam Bondi at this point, but that explanation definitely is needed at this point, I believe.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've got some major doubts about this one. Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita.